Hey, welcome to class. My name's Nora. This is another class in our mobility series. Today we're tackling shoulders in about 30 minutes. We need a wall, a block, and a ball today. So you'll need some space where you can stand at your wall. It's free and open. It doesn't have anything hanging on it. You'll need a yoga block, and you'll also need a small ball. So this can be a little massage ball if you have them at home. This can be a tennis ball. If you don't have any little balls laying around at home, you can grab a t-shirt, roll it up, and hold that to create some tension during today's class. Come to a comfortable seat, and we'll start by stretching the right arm out to the right. Turn the palm up to the sky and look at your elbow pit. It should also be facing the sky as well. Then rotate your thumb down and watch the elbow pit turn down to the floor. This is it. We're just going to rotate between these two positions, palm up and thumb down. And as you're watching that elbow pit spin, that indicates to you that you're not just rotating from your wrist, but your whole arm is spinning in the shoulder joint. As the palm rotates up to the sky and your bicep rotates up, that's called external rotation. And as the thumb rotates down and the elbow pit turns down, that's called internal rotation. And these are just fancy ways of describing which way the arm is rotating. We need both directions of rotation in our shoulders. Go one more time each side. We land with a thumb pointing down, bend the elbow, bring the hand against the low back. Pull the elbow back as you press the hand into your spine, and then drop left ear to left shoulder. Stay here, or you have the option to take this a little bit deeper by bringing the left hand on top of the head and providing just a little bit of weight, drawing the head down. Again, you have the option to stay here, or you can explore rotation within this neck stretch. You can extend your back arm out to the side, and then again, try rotating the palm up and turning the thumb down. And notice how changing the rotation of the arm changes the line of tissue that's on stretch at the neck. All right, so how well and in which way our shoulders rotate changes the feelings that we have in our neck and our upper back. Go for 2 if you're rotating, and 1. Beautiful. Gently release your hand from on top of your head. You're just going to bring your chin to your chest and lift the head back up to center. And we'll take it to the other side. So left arm reaches out to the left, palm up, elbow pit faces up, and then rotate your thumb down and watch the elbow pit turn down. Couple rounds. Notice if there's pain, weakness, shaking, anything like that. Maybe there are parts of the rotational path that are difficult for you or hard to access. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means you got a human shoulder. And if you've had any kind of surgery or injury, they'll be very different. Even if you haven't had surgery or injury, the shoulders are different side to side. Start to notice. Is one side more challenging to internally rotate, turning your thumb down? Is one side more challenging to turn the palm up? I'm going to go one more round, and we're going to meet with the thumb pointing down towards the floor. Bend the elbow, bring the hand behind the low back, push the hand into the back body as you pull the elbow back and sit up tall, and then drop right ear to right shoulder. Breathe space along the left side of the neck. Option to stay right here. Or if you want to take this a little bit deeper, right hand comes on top of the head. You're not pulling down, but there is a little bit of gentle pressure. And then left arm can extend out, and you can rotate the arm again. And all we're trying to do here is notice that the rotation of the shoulders really impacts the positioning and the feeling in the rest of the upper body and neck. Go for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Release your top hand, bring your chin to your chest, and lightly lift the head back up to center. All right, now that we've explored rotation, we're going to start to work on expanding our range of rotation as well as look at flexion and extension. So we want to make sure we're getting all of the primary movements of the shoulder. Rotation is a big one, what we just did. Also taking the arms up overhead, flexion, and taking the arms down and bring them back behind its extension. So we're going to work with that at the wall a little bit. You're going to head to the wall. When you're at the wall, you're going to place your forehead against the wall. If you need to put a towel between your forehead and the wall to make this a little bit more comfortable, go ahead and do so. And then you'll bring your hands onto the wall. Keep a light bend in the knees, so that way you're staying comfortable in the lower body. And we're going to stretch the arms all the way up. So arms are straight and their hands are slightly wider than the shoulders. Take a big breath in through the nose. And then exhale through your mouth to draw the navel in and pull the rib cage down. Keep that rib cage down. Take another breath in. With the exhale, can you pull your hands off of the wall without bending your elbows? And without letting that rib cage jut forward. Inhale, set it down. Keep that forehead heavy on the wall. Exhale, pull the hands off. As far back as they'll go. Here we're just working on noticing how well we can flex the arm. Exhale, pull the hands off the wall without leaning back, without the rib cage jutting forward, and without pulling that head away from the wall. Let's go for another 3, 2, last one. Set it down. Bend at the elbows. Bring yourself into goalpost arms. Head is still on the wall. Elbows and hands are on the wall to start. And now we're going to work on that rotation a little bit again. You'll take a big breath in. Big breath out. Knees soft. Belly in. Rib cage down. In through the nose. And with your exhale, keep your elbows on the wall, but pull your hands off. This is working our external rotation to a greater degree at the shoulder. Inhale, set the hands back on the wall. Exhale, pull it off without leaning back, without rib cage jutting forward, without moving the body at all, and letting this live in the shoulder joint. Exhale, pull it off. Last 2. Make sure you're not bending at the wrists. The whole forearm moves as one piece from the elbow to the fingertips. Last 1. Pull back as much as you can, and then set it down. Now, keeping the wrist straight is going to be very important for this next exercise. Now we're moving into internal rotation, so we're going to do the opposite of what we just did. Your fingertips stay on the wall. As you exhale, you'll pull your elbows off the wall. Inhale, relax, elbows on the wall, fingertips on the wall. Exhale, pull just the elbows off without bending at the wrists. So I like to stay up on fingertips here and try to keep those elbows, keep my wrist as straight as I can as I pull off. And then inhale, set it back down. Let's go for last 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Nice job. Gently release the hands and step back from the wall. All right. We're going to work on expanding rotation a little bit more. This time we're going to do so laying on the floor with a block underneath the head. I'm going to start laying on my right side today, and I recommend you do the same so we're on the same side. So lay yourself down on your side. Right temple or right side of the head rests on the block. Left hand is on the floor. Push that hand into the floor to slide your hips back in space just a little bit. Your right arm is outstretched in front of you. You'll bend at the elbow and make a fist. This is center. This is neutral. You are neither internally nor externally rotated at your shoulder. If you let the back of the hand fall towards the earth, this is external rotation. We're going to work on internal rotation for the moment. So you'll bring your fist back to center. And now try to push the palm towards the earth. This is internal rotation. This is what we're going to work on for a few minutes. So palm moves towards the earth as far as it can go. And again, the wrist stays straight. No flexing at the wrist, no extension at the wrist. Your left hand comes on top of the right fist and it applies a little bit of pressure, like you're trying to push that hand down towards the floor. Rather than allowing that hand to press down, kick your fist back up into your flat palm. Like you're trying to bring your right hand back to neutral, your right arm back to neutral, but the left hand is blocking it from going there. The longer we lay here, try to ramp up the tension even more. So continuing to press the fist up into the hand. If you're at 20% now, go to 30%. Breathe and go to 40%, maybe 50%. Keeping your breathing steady, even as you're feeling that sensation really shift in the right shoulder. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now watch this. The only thing that changes, literally the only thing that changes, is that I pull my bottom fist away from my hand. My top hand does not move. What moves is my bottom hand pulling down and away. Ooh. Now we're really pushing to expand our internal rotation. We're fighting for more. We're trying to pull that palm towards the floor with as much effort as we can manage. This is a little bit trickier. Try to keep the wrist straight, right? Pulling the knuckles towards the floor isn't doing anything at your shoulder. Think about the forearm moving as one piece, trying to press towards the floor for 3, 2, and 1. Remove your top hand, set it off to the side, and then externally rotate. Internally rotate. Flip between the two. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Notice as you internally rotate, if your hand goes a little bit closer to the floor, your forearm is at a smaller angle to the floor than it was before. One more time. Nice job. We're going to switch to the other side. So I'm going to roll to laying on my left side. I recommend that you do the same so that you can watch me, you can face me as we do this. So settle yourself down on the left side. Left arm extends out in front of you. Temple rests on the block. Use your right hand on the floor to push down and slide your hips back a little bit. Bend the left elbow, make a fist with the left hand. Remember, this is neutral. If you bring the back of the hand towards the floor, this is external rotation. Notice how easy that is. For most of us, we have a lot more external rotation at the shoulders than we have internal rotation, which is why we're training internal rotation right now. Bring your fist back up to center. Now try to pull the palm towards the floor. This is internal rotation. This is where we're going to train for the moment. Your right hand comes on top of the left knuckle. There's a little bit of pressure down, but mostly your left fist is kicking up into the right hand. Push up, push up, push up. Notice what that activates in the left upper arm and the left shoulder. Keep trying to add a little bit more pressure, and a little bit more pressure, and a little bit more pressure as we breathe. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now look up here. Remember, the top hand does not lift up. What is happening is that the bottom hand is pulling down and away, and it's fighting for more internal rotation, fighting to push to the floor. Keep trying to push. We're here for 5, 4, 3, straight wrist, 2, and 1. Remove your top hand, go to external rotation. Go to internal rotation. External to internal. So what we're doing in these exercises is using active muscle activation to improve both our active and our passive range of motion. So you might notice when we first came into this, and I had you go to internal rotation before we brought the top hand on, you maybe only came to here for internal rotation, but after we did that muscle activation, those isometric activities, you might find, oh, now I can more easily drop towards the floor than I could before. We've opened up new range of motion in your shoulders. All right, let's roll onto our bellies, and we're going to work on external rotation a little bit. So lay yourself all the way down on your belly. You can move your block off to the side. You won't need it for the moment. And you'll bring your right forearm underneath your chin, or you can kind of lay the side of your head on your right forearm if that feels good. All right, you'll bring your left arm out to the left, and you'll cactus the arm. Cactus the arm. So it's at about 90 degrees, and you'll make a fist with that left arm. Just like we did at the wall, you're going to keep your elbow on the floor and try to lift your left forearm straight up as one piece. Now, if you can clear by a lot, and this is really easy, you're going to bring a block underneath that left hand. If you have a hard time even getting that hand, let's say an inch or a half an inch off the floor, then great, this is where you want to work. But if that's really easy for you, we want to give ourselves more challenge so that we are truly working on improving our range of motion. So I'm going to start at this angle here with my left wrist up on a block, my left elbow on the floor. I'm going to take a big breath in. Use the exhale to brace my belly and press my legs into the floor, keeping the body still, and then try to lift just the forearm up while keeping the elbow down, and the wrist is straight. And lower with control. That's 1. We're going to aim for 5. Exhale, lift for 4. 3. Fight for more lift each round. 2. 1 more. Lift. Hover, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Nice job. Let's go to the other side. So right arm cactuses. I'm going to swing around on my mat so I can face you still. But you can just simply switch your arms so that the left forearm is now supporting underneath your head and your right arm is cactus out to the right. Make a fist. This first one is a practice. Elbow stays down. The whole forearm lifts as one piece coming into external rotation. If you can clear by a lot, put a block in underneath that right fist, just so we're starting at a greater degree of external rotation. So we're really working towards our end range. Take a deep breath in. Push the legs down. Brace the belly like you're taking a punch. Lift. Forearm up. Lower. Lift. Lower. You're lowering with just as much control as you lift it off for a last 2. Last one. Beautiful. Set your block off to the side. Gently press yourself up. Okay, so for our final exercise today, we're going to do one of my favorite things. We're going to do elbow hinges in internal and external rotation. If you like, you can sit up on a block. I do recommend that you kneel for this exercise just so you can keep your spine as tall as possible. And a block can be helpful for staying here long term. If folding the heels underneath you doesn't feel good, know that you can also cross your legs in front. That's totally cool. Okay, so you're going to need a ball or a t-shirt balled up, and we're going to place this in our right hand, and you want to keep a generous amount of squeeze around this ball the entire time. You're going to take it in your right hand and extend the right arm out like you're doing half of the Y in YMCA, and then your left hand, bring it to the right side of your rib cage, and this is going to give us some tactile feedback about what the body's doing and how the body is trying to help the shoulder make the movements a shoulder should make on its own. So we'll bend the elbow and bring the hand behind the head. It's okay if the hand rests at the back of the head for the moment. Now, I'm going to ask you to pull your right elbow back in space, but one of 2 things usually tends to happen when people do this. Number 1, I tell you to pull the elbow back and your whole body turns to the right. That's what this hand is for. That hand on the rib cage is to help you realize that when you pull that elbow back, you might be turning the whole body. The second thing that happens when I tell people to pull their elbow back is that their rib cage juts forward and they arch their back body. We do not want either of these 2 things to happen. So put a little pressure in that left hand to press your rib cage down and hold it in. And then try to pull that elbow back without turning and without arching the back. All right, we're already really challenging what the shoulder can do here on its own. Now squeeze that ball tight. All this exercise entails is extending the arm and rebending it, trying to keep that elbow back, and maybe the hand hovers behind the back of the head. Maybe it doesn't, and that's okay, but that's a little bit more challenge if you're looking for it today. And all we're doing is hinging and unhinging at the elbow. That's it. That is all. Keep that squeeze around the ball. Keep your rib cage pressed down and in with that left hand. We have another 4 hinges. Nice and easy. 3. No rush. 2. Keep the elbow back. 1 more. Hinge. Unhinge. Lower the arm down. Turn the palm away towards the back of the mat. And now we're going to work this same idea in internal rotation. So you'll bend the elbow and bring the hand against your low back. I'll tell you right now, the internal rotation is usually a little bit harder. So be gentle with yourself. Pull the elbow back without turning the chest and without letting that rib cage pop out underneath your hand. With the elbow back, extend the arm out and then rebend, trying to keep the elbow back, and maybe the hand hovers behind the low back. It's not even touching. We're going for 8. Notice if you like to lean too. Some people doing this exercise, they want to lean all the way over to the left or they lean really far to the right. See if you can keep your shoulders stacked right on top of your hips for these last 4. 3. And we're doing our best here to let the shoulder do all the work so nothing else in the body is moving. Anything else that's moving in the body right now, that's compensation. Beautiful. You're going to set your ball down at the side and then lift both of your arms all the way up to the sky. And just notice right to left will feel very, very different. Turn the hands away from each other and then press the air down, feeling the shoulder blades activate on the back body. And noticing that right side might glide a little bit easier than left. Let's do the left side. So take that ball into your left hand, give it a really strong squeeze. Make half of the Y in YMCA. Right hand comes to the left side of the rib cage. Remember, this is for feedback for you. This is so you know what's happening in the body as we're working here. Bend that top elbow, bring the hand behind the head. Pull the elbow back without turning and without arching the back. A little bit of pressure on that right hand as you pull the elbow back. And then we extend and we bend. That's it. Extend and bend, keeping the elbow back. Maybe that left hand hovers behind the head. Breathe for final 4. Keep tension around that ball. Go one more. Good, we worked external rotation. Now you'll take the arm out, bring the arm down, internally rotate. So palm turns back, thumb turns towards the floor, and then bend the elbow, bring the hand behind the low back. Pull the elbow back, extend, rebend. Hand hovers away from the low back if you can. Otherwise, just focus on keeping that elbow back in space. Breathe. Squeeze the ball. Last 2. Final round. Beautiful. Release your ball off to the side. Take both arms up. Notice left to right will probably still feel different. Turn the hands away. Imagine that air is 10 times thicker. Create resistance as you press down through the air. And notice maybe both shoulder blades slide a little bit easier now. Bring the hands to heart center. Bow chin to chest. Take a breath in. Fill up with gratitude for those shoulders that, while they do sometimes carry a lot of tension, that signals to us when we're overworked, we're overloaded. And that's valuable information for us. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Let your shoulders drop. Thank you so much for joining me for practice today. I hope your shoulders are feeling completely different after that work. And I hope to see you again for another video in the mobility series. Until we meet on the mat soon, namaste.